Hey there. Okay, next session, next episode, episode 5 of my Edge of the Empire campaign. So since I'm also kind of using this just to test my own solitaire stuff a little bit, also I took away the blur in the background, so I mean hopefully it's not too ridiculously messy, but I got tired of trying to hold something up and the blur all getting, screwed up. So one of the things I was kind of thinking of here is that I kind of made a few little errors and really kind of did a little bit of checking to see and making some decisions as to kind of how exactly I'm going to make things work. Travel between points in the galaxy in Edge of the Empire is a little ambiguous. Even with the operations guide or whatever, I mean, there's certain, or the astrogation table and the operations manual here that I've got, things are a little sketchy in terms of the way, how long it takes to go from point A to point B. And I get it, because there's all kinds of weird little twists and turns and different hyper lanes and major trade routes and that kind of thing. So I read, somebody had suggested per quadrant, per square you were kind of traveling to or through, it should be 12 hours if you're on a major trade route, major hyperspace lane, like the ones all in color kind of through here and the ones listed down here. Those are all the major trade routes of the galaxy. All the other lines throughout here are the kind of the minor routes, like minor hyper lanes, minor hyperspace routes, that kind of thing. And so it's been suggested that it's for major trade routes, 12 hours per square. For smaller ones and such, the minor ones, it should be 24 hours per square. So I realized kind of like maybe my calculations were kind of really bizarre then in terms of the way things were going to work here. Sorry, I'm going to kind of move things around a little bit. So I'm going to kind of zoom in. So we're actually starting on Nar Shaddaa here. I'm thinking I won't count the first box, but moving 2 across hyperspace lanes. Along hyperspace lanes. Every box I'll pass through, I'll consider that, the 24 hours. So I already kind of did the math here a little bit. So from Nar Shaddaa here, 1, 2, I'm going to count this because 3, even though it kind of only just touches into it, 4, 5, 6 to Tatooine, which is where we're going, right? So if we consider that, oops. I need to reset this maybe a little bit. Sorry, this kind of bugs me when it's a little off. Do it this way. I got I don't know, some oddities when it comes to the way I want to kind of have things working in that respect. But, sorry. So we got basically 6 days worth of travel to Tatooine because it is a minor hyperspace lane. What I had originally kind of been looking at here was that it's going to kind of scan here. I kind of made this note that the Driftwood, because it's got a class 2 hyperdrive, so we'd be looking kind of at, I had put like that it was going to be 1 week between sectors or whatever. Between Nar Shaddaa and Tatooine, and then I realized the YT-1300 has a Class 2 hyperdrive, so we're still kind of getting close there, unfortunately, because we've figured out 6 days. And sorry, I actually kind of should be pulling this back because my plan here, which I had been noting, is that basically in my astrogation roll from last time, which we recall correctly, was a no successes but 1 advantage. So we're instead going to need to refuel somewhere, because 6 days times 2 for the hyperdrive. The quick calculation there, right, is 12 days. There's 4 cells needed a day. that ends up kind of adding up way too much compared to what the driftwood even carries. Kind of shift things a little bit here, bring up the driftwood. So when we kind of look at the driftwood here again, it has, this is kind of what it currently has. It has 50 fuel cells, 40 of which currently are charged. So instead, that astrogation roll is going to count towards landing on Gamor. So 1, 2, doubled for the hyperdrive space there, right? So we got 2 full days, 4 days, which means 16 fuel cells. Did I just do the math right? Yes. 16 fuel cells will use up. So if we bring the driftwood back up again, I would need... Actually, maybe I can make it all in one. Maybe I should kind of fix it, because I think I'll end up... Yeah, I'll use 32 fuel cells to get to Tatooine. Sorry, no, we can go back to the way I was kind of going to be planning things. It's a straight jump, so... Why don't I even just count the fuel cells here? So 1, 2, 3... Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 12 days. You know what, I'm just... Because I apparently can't do math today. We got 12 days... No, that's not right. Something's wrong in my calculations here. Now how am I... Okay. I'm going to pause this while I try to just figure out where the hell I'm going wrong with my calculations. Okay, no, I'm having a bad math day or something. So no, that's right. It would be 16 fuel cells to there. We'll need to kind of refuel because to try to go the whole way, it's going to be 48 fuel cells all on one. Gamor is a reasonable place to stop in theory. So what do we know here? So I made an obligation roll as well. So we know here our plan here is we're going to refuel on Gamor. That's kind of what our scene summary is expected to be. Now, we're going to be using up 16 fuel cells. I'm going to say that the advantage is going to allow me to reduce the number of fuel cells for the jump by 2. So instead of 16. All right, let's do it. 16. Sure. We'll do 4 days, 16 fuel cells. We're going to say minus 10% with the advantage. So we'll just make that 15 fuel cells cost. Jumping to Gamor. Okay, so that's what it's going to cost. Now, unfortunately, what we've also kind of figured out, like my guess was that. Because we didn't roll any successes, we didn't roll any failures, that was bad, but we didn't roll any successes, so it's not really a success, but the advantage is kind of helped. But we're going to end up, I think what I decided here while thinking it over is we're going to end up a little ways, like we're gonna end up kind of like at the edge of the system. And now here's a couple things I wanted to just talk about here before we really kind of get going. One, I made myself a little binder. This has got some of the major tables for Mythic, kind of like basically the stuff at the end of the PDF. Printed out the rules summary and that kind of thing. Printed out the Universal NPC emulator and kind of put this in the binder. I've got my cheat sheets. I don't need that going off right now. I've got my cheat sheet for the Edge of the Empire. Well, technically it's a Force and Destiny cheat sheet, but same thing. And I've got my operational costs, and I got a couple other things here as well, some stuff for later, because I've printed off some stuff for Iron Sworn later on, because I want to give that a shot. But a bunch of other things here that I've just kind of gonna kind of be using as we go along. Somebody had the idea on a Reddit, on a subreddit regarding solo play, that they kind of have a binder of the stuff they use and kind of just keep tailoring how they do things. So I can kind of mix and match and take stuff in and put stuff in, take stuff out, whatever. So I kind of like that idea, and it's kind of contained within this. And I've been starting to add some bookmarks in here, some flags, to make it easy to find stuff. So there's that. Actually, what I will do, even though that is not a... Oops, how do I switch layers again? Sorry, they've changed this and I keep forgetting how to do this. No. Sorry, matte layer. There we go. I do not have a... I'm just going to kind of delete that for now. I do not have a image of Gamor to throw in there, so we're just going to put current location as Gamor because that's what we're going to be doing. And then, since we're going to be kind of at the edge of the system here, we're going to end up having to spend some time in sublight travel. There's got to be something here. I'm positive there's something here about fuel power. Well, here we go. Per 12 hours of real space operation. So I'm gonna say we're gonna kind of essentially lose that. We're going to end up with another 12 hours kind of in real space, just normal flight, because we ended up so far out of, away from the planet Gamor. Sorry, I'm going to call it real space travel through the system. 1 fuel cell. So our trip actually is going to end up costing us 16 fuel cells in total. Where are my fuel cells again? Here we go. So we're down to 24 fuel cells as we kind of enter Gamor's space. This is not including our landing necessarily, because I believe it's half per takeoff or landing. I'm not even going to worry about the takeoff or landing, anything like that, for reaching jump distance. I'm just going to say it's that. So we've burned up basically burned off 16 fuel cells. Now, before we kind of get going here, I think we need to know whether the scene's going to play out as normal. The scene that I see, we land on Gamor, which is mostly an agricultural world. I've had made a note, but I've been modifying things here so much that I need to kind of back off a little bit. And we know that the Gamor spaceport is essentially going to be a grade 3 as well, which is going to dictate kind of how much our fuel cells cost and that kind of thing, as well as what facilities are available. Now, at the same time, Jax heals through all of this, as he's spent 4 days now. I'm just going to hopefully this just works. As far as I know, all that just worked. Okay, so we were going to remove our wounds here. We're all good to go. He heals 1 naturally per day. He was out of stim packs. He needs to purchase some more, of course. And the other thing that I've kind of done here is just upgraded Jax a bit using some of the XP. You'll notice I'm back basically down to 2 XP saved over again. So I threw 5 points into quick draw. So once per round, draw or holster a weapon or accessible item as an incidental rather than as a maneuver. And I also bumped up his shooting, seeing as he got into a gunfight, a pretty nasty gunfight where he almost lost his life. I wanted to bump that up a little bit. Something I think I forgot to do, can't remember during the 2 sessions ago, I think I might have screwed up using the soak roll, and I can't remember whether I used it or used it properly. I can't remember whether they just took straight damage from what they were being hit with, or whether I remembered to subtract from the soak roll, but I'll try to remember to deal with that properly in the future. Hopefully there's no firefights here on Gamor. So, Jackson K touchdown on Gamor. So I'm just going to change that. We'll just call Scene 7 the refuel stop. Alright, so first thing I need to do here is check our chaos factor, which is a 6. We're going to roll a die. 10. Cool. Okay. Goes off as normal. Our refueling is not going to be an issue here. So, land on Gamora, and we're going to make this a really kind of really basic scene. Land on Gamora, refuels entirely. So Jax lands on Gamora, refuels the driftwood entirely. So the driftwood, where are we here? Needs to refuel 26 cells. So I'm just going to do a quick check here for my costs based on what kind of so grade 3, we're going to have to pay a 50 credit docking fee. Maybe I should keep track of this here as I'm talking. Fuel says 20 to 25. Even it's 20, odd it's 25. Even. So 20 cells, so we got 26 cells. So 520 credits plus the 50 credits for docking there. So I'm just going to make a note here. So the credits for fuel, the credit docking fee. So I'm going to just kind of pop back over to Jax here. Credit log again. So we're going to be removing 570 credits. Refueling and docking fee on Gamor. Awesome. So he's blown through so many credits here already. And he already knows that he's carrying some very dangerous stuff, some stuff that others are going to want. So I'm just going to fix here. We're going to go back to our 50 fuel cells, and we're all good to go here. The other thing I wanted to make sure I was dealing with, we got consumables. We've been in space, so this is consumables for the ship's complement. We're not gonna restock here, but we had 4 days. We have so basically it's actually what I'm gonna do is 2 months. Actually, I'll just call this. Can store up to 2 months of consumables just in the normal spots within the ship. Currently, I've got 55 days worth of consumables for K and I, right? So this is for the whole ship's complement. That's the way I'm reading it. So we're actually in pretty good shape there. I'm not gonna restock anything here, and then we're going to be moving on again here. So I'm going to call that a really simple, easy kind of scene. Jax has no issues really landing. He kind of deals with the locals, to refuel, make sure that he's ready to get going again. And because he's kind of in charge and it was a really simple scene, I'm going to bump our chaos factor down to 5. Actually, we'll just do this. So chaos factor is coming down to 5. Alright, so we're going to need to make another astrogation roll. Now, do I have a... I'm going to have to see here. I'm just going to kind of move myself here. Oops. Do I have... I do, so I'm going to just kind of... We're going to kind of come back to the map layer, because our next stop is likely, unless something really kind of screws me over, our next stop is likely to be Tatooine here. So I'm going to just kind of do this. I love this little current location thing. I think it's just kind of handy, and I can just kind of, and then we'll go back to the layers. Cool. So yeah, this is just kind of the darky stuff that I kind of do here. So great. Okay, so we're leaving Gamorre. We're all refueled again here. No problem. No problem so far, anyway, on Gamorre. And our next session is what I'm expecting to be Scene 8, a Hive of Scum and Villainy. We're just going to kind of borrow that. And, well, the first thing we need to do is make an astrogation check. So our astrogation is not spectacular, if you remember correctly here. So Jax has got no ranks. This is not a career skill for him. He really probably should pick up an astrogation droid or something to do this work for him. But right now he's a little short on cash, as you know, as we come back to the credit log. He's down to 680 credits. So there's our total. Currently, we're kind of short. So Jackson needs to make an astrogation roll. I think we're going to be dealing with the same kind of thing. I'm going to give it a 2 purple dice of difficulty here, which I believe is what I did for. I believe is what I did for the last astrogation roll. However, Jax is going to take his time in a big way. So we're going to take the destiny pool. And I'm going to spend a light side for a boost and throw that onto dark. Sorry, for an upgraded die. Alright, so swap out one of our green die for a yellow die. So we're going to be rolling a green die, a yellow die, 2 purple dice. Okay. Sounds about right. Just going to roll it. Okay, we're going to end up with no successes again. We have 1 threat and 4 advantage, which means we're going to end up with 3 advantage. So I'm going to say that's going to kind of decrease us by about 30% in terms of our expected time to get there. But possibly we're going to have a slight issue when we get to Tatooine. Alright. I swear there's actually successes somewhere on these dice. Yeah, they're there. Alright. Tatooine is where we're going to be dropping ourselves into out of hyperspace. So again, Gamorre, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Tatooine. So typically that would be 4 days, so instead we're going to do 8 days. It's going to be 32 fuel cells. Alright, so that's a lot of fuel being spent. Just kind of bouncing around here. Sorry, I need the driftwood. But at least that'll put us where we need to go. So 32, so it's 18 fuel cells left. That's what we burned through. Oh, sorry, I forgot. We're going to decrease that slightly. We're going to decrease that by 30%. Sorry, so it's going to be, we're going to call it 22 fuel cells. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like some of the logistics elements of that. So instead, That's actually really, really good. But once again, things are going to possibly take an odd turn here. So scene 8. So my expectation is we're going to be basically arriving on Tatooine. And asking around about, what's our guy's name again? Thalos Vexar. Oops. He's the buyer. Okay. Okay. So, Tatooine, I've already dealt with the fuel cells, but we do still have the 8 days in space. Oh, sorry, in hyperspace, technically. There we go. We're going to use up some, once again, 8 days worth of consumables. I guess this probably means more than just food. Food and water and whatever else, right? Works for me. So this is kind of what we're going to be ending up here. Now, I'm expecting that this should end with Jackson K landing on the planet, landing at Mos Eisley Spaceport, because why not? And starting to kind of ask around about Thalos Vexar, who's meant to be their buyer. But Jax also now knows what's in that crate. Now, we're going to just do a quick check. Again, chaos factor of 5. Let's see kind of what happens here. That's a 7. It'll go off as planned. So, okay. Alright, we land on Tatooine in the Mos Eisley Spaceport. Jax kind of checks his blaster on his way out, just make sure everything's charged up. Mos Eisley's kind of known as the Hive of Scum and Villainy, of course. So we want to make sure that there's no issues. He's ready to go. First things first, he sets the ramp down in the back. He's already been told, they've already kind of docked in a particular spot there, and he steps down off of the ramp into the docking bay. Now, no successes with that astrogation check. That's the second blown astrogation check in a row. I'm thinking we need to kind of check on a couple things here. I'm thinking maybe there's an issue. Okay, why don't we just ask Mythic? So let's flip on back to my Mythic tables here. So our fate chart, we're on chaos factor of 5. And my question is, has something broken in the ship? So I'm just going to go with a 50-50 on that. 38. Yes! Something has broken on the ship. What is broken? So let's go back to our operations manual here. What is broken? What is there an issue with? We got a system failure of some sort. That's what I'm thinking. So under the operations manual here, we got some system failure stuff. So systems failure when a ship reaches 10 hours of required maintenance. The GMH is penalized cruise neck. Basically, there's a whole repair, refuel, resupply thing. That system failure can happen. But in this case, just due to that failure, the second in a row, I'm going to say, and with the question to Mythic, I'm going to say that there is a system failure of some sort. It could be a hyperdrive failure, though. Why don't we do that? either way, they're going to find out kind of like, something's gone wrong, but they still make it to Tatooine. Because I don't want to deal with kind of retconning already and going back and like having them lost in space or something. So, even its systems failure, odd its hyperdrive. 1. Okay, so it's a hyperdrive failure of some sort. That's an 11. So an 11 is the drive performs as expected this time. But I want there to be a problem. So let's roll until we get some. So I need to roll 40 or at least 40 here. 90. That's probably terrible. Power transfer conduit overloads. The drive needs an average mechanics check to repair it before the ship can make a jump. So there we go. So we kind of come out of hyperspace, and in the back we hear, and like there's this horrible crunching, grinding sound kind of going on. Jax looks back. Okay, check on that, will you? And he looks down at the Ewok, who just kind of looks up at him like, All right, I'll check on it. Jax stands up. He's like, just don't crash into the planet, all right? You can see Tatooine off in the distance ahead, and instead he kind of goes back. Well, actually, we do have a Driftwood kind of battle map here. I'm going to move myself a little bit here so I can easily zoom out. So, Gay's left up here in the cockpit. Meanwhile, what do we got here? Engineering bay is back here, just kind of near where we come in. So, Jax makes his way back to the engineering bay to take a look. The hyperdrive. Okay. Hyperdrive failure. What did I say? 90. Okay, that's cool. So he goes back, he checks out the hyperdrive, realizes like it's offline. It's big flashing red light. He kind of turns off the alarm, takes a look at it, going, damn it! All right, let's see what this is going to cost me. So once again, like lots of problems here. Like I said, I kind of back in my session 0, I kind of had this idea that I wanted this to be like a Firefly type of thing, and well, Captain Malcolm Reynolds and his crew went through all kinds of stupid things like this where they had lots of issues, and apparently Captain Jax Kellen is going to go through a lot of problems here as well. So we got a hyperdrive failure due to my second failed astrogation check. First one, okay, I let myself off easy with just spending some extra fuel, which with the advantage really wasn't much extra fuel. This time something goes wrong. The hyperdrive's got problems, and we cannot make the jump back to hyperspace until it's fixed. Is Jax much of a mechanic? No, not at all, really. Jax is not really much of a mechanic at all. That is going to mean there's probably going to be some costs involved. So Jack's going to return to the cockpit. Kay kind of looks back as he enters the cockpit because he's just cursing and swearing under his breath. Just annoyed, just angry. One more thing gone wrong that he really can't afford to go wrong. And here we are now on Tatooine with a restricted, or rather heavily restricted, basically illegal cargo that he's trying to offload to a Zabrak who is supposedly here somewhere waiting for him. So Jax lands. They land. He puts the docking, the ramp down. Tells Kay to stay put, keep the ramp closed, and keep an eye on the cargo. Don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Just don't let anyone take it. Don't Boss Isley is a dangerous place, Kay. You gotta be careful here. And yeah, so there he goes. He goes off looking into the spaceport to begin searching for his buyer. And I just kind of want to, oops, sorry. Just want to have that buyer's name right in front of me here. Again, so this is what we've got. So we don't really know much about this guy yet. So why don't we, let's go to Universal NPC Emulator. So, what do we kind of have, what do we know about this guy? So, alright. Let's do a few things here. So, we're gonna hit both of the, we're gonna hit the NPC modifier first of all. 81. 81 is jovial. That's seems unlikely. On the NPC noun, 88. A jovial professor. Well, this is interesting. So, well, this is interesting because he could be professor for a number of different things, especially if he's the one there as the buyer for these Kyber crystals. Maybe he's not an Imperial, like I kind of first considered. So he's a jovial professor. I like this. Okay, power level. Actually, we're going to make him. His power level is going to be. He's not. There's no way he can really be all that much more powerful, I would think, here. We got a chaos, so we're standard. Let's just power level. Just roll it. 0, 1. Much weaker than Jax. Much weaker. Like, Cake might be able to take this guy. He really is a professor. Okay, so he's not very strong. He's not skilled in the kinds of... He's not skilled in the kinds of things that he's doing. Okay, I'm just going to make a note of that. He's doing such as purchasing illicit goods. So there we go. Okay, I like that. Now, what are his motivations? Now, this is something Jax isn't going to know, but his motivations. 49. Motivation. Implement. Now for the noun. 05. Implement prosperity. Alright, so he's fucking greedy. Right? He's buying these with the intention of selling them to a higher bidder. I would say someone in the core worlds, but that Jax may never kind of learn about that. So what else might we know about him? Jovial. So I'm kind of thinking like, maybe he's like that, bird-like, thin, well-spoken, academic, right? But he's a Zabrak, so that's kind of interesting. So here we go. Because he's not street smart. He's not street smart at all. There's no way this guy is street smart based on kind of what we're seeing here. So what exactly do we have here? So what is this guy going to be like? This is going to kind of be interesting. He's interested in purchasing these things. Absolutely. He definitely wants to pay the price here. Which is maybe like Jax wasn't told to pick up anything. He's just delivering. So I'm thinking the money's been transferred, or maybe or in like an escrow or something. So yeah. So that there we go. That's it. He's He's not picking anything up. This guy's already put the money into escrow. Escrow, did I spell that right? I don't even know if I spelled that right. So the money's in escrow, and he's probably not really thinking too much about hiding himself on Tatooine. He's making a purchase. His idea of lying low is like hanging around the spaceport. Yeah. So Thalos's idea of lying low is, and seeming all too eager when new arrivals pass him by, kind of like sir, you wouldn't happen to be looking for me, would you? Of course, little, the little devil horns and such all across, like as a Zabrak is. You wouldn't happen to be looking for me? Me, no. My name is No. He's got to be Professor Thalos. Professor Thalos Vexar, please. I've taught in the universities on Alderaan and on Coruscant, and had special engagements speaking all across the galaxy. Now, what does this guy speak about? What does he know? Why does he want these kyber crystals? He's greedy. This is his retirement package. Of course it is. Yeah. It's his retirement plan. He's going to sell these for a lot of money to somebody. I'm thinking he's not exactly, maybe he thinks he can get a lot more for them than what he's paying for them. So there we go. That's what is it. This is his retirement plan. Well, yes, I do plan on retiring. However, perhaps not quite yet. I do need to make one little trade, a little purchase, a small sale, and I'll be ready to retire to the most beautiful worlds. Maybe he's gonna retire to something like Naboo, Hey, he's got plans to purchase a house overlooking a waterfall dropping into the beautiful forests of Naboo or something like that. I don't know. Jax isn't probably going to get that far with him. But I am thinking this guy is really hanging around the spaceport. So as I'm going to we're going to take a short break. I'm not going to mean anything to this, but just pausing for a second. Okay, back to where we were. So, Jax exits the driftwood. When he gets to the bottom of the ramp, he kind of slaps a button just on the side there, and the ramp basically kind of goes, closes and retracts and closes again. He's already warned Kay, be careful, don't mess with anything, don't let anyone on the ship. He'd prefer not to have any more surprises. And so far he's been kind of lucky. There are supposedly others looking for this cargo, but maybe Jax is really going to get lucky this time here. Jax steps out of the particular docking bay that he's in. Doesn't really matter. Docking bay 56. There we go. We could put that in here. Stupid little details like that I like. But Docking Bay 56. Jax exits the spaceport. Not exits the spaceport. Exits the docking bay. Make sure to close the door on his way out there as he passes through. He knows that there's no lock. There's no lock that he's able to set on this. Mos Eisley is a grade 3, which is a fairly standard spaceport. But it is, it is the Hive of Scum and Villainy after all. It's not known for it's not known for a lot of legitimate dealings, although there are the moisture farmers and a few other things here. Now, so Jax steps out of the docking bay. He knows he's looking for his Zabrak. The docking bay Sorry, yeah, is the spaceport busy? Let's just flip on back here to my tables. Is the spaceport busy? It seems... doesn't seem the most likely here. So with my check here, again, we're on a chaos factor of 5. I'm going to say it's unlikely that the spaceport's busy. Is it busy? 33. That's a yes. 33 is... it's unlikely, but it's a yes. Spaceport is busy. But... Jax. Why don't we just give him a perception roll here? So, we're going to make it an easy perception roll because Professor... sorry, I've already kind of... What was his name again? Professor Vexar. Professor Vexar is not exactly keeping a low profile. 3 green dice, 1 purple. That's a neutral with the... yeah, basically, I rolled a failure and a success and a nothing and an advantage. Okay. Jax fails to see Professor Vexar. He doesn't know he's a professor. He fails to see the Zabrak as he kind of has his mind set up. He's got issues, right? His mind currently is on, I need to fix the hyperdrive or I'm never getting off of this sandy rock. Additionally, I've got to find, the buyer. And in Jax's world, the buyer's not going to be standing there with a little sign in front of him going, looking for kyber crystals. But in this case, it's not too far off from the truth. So, as he's kind of walking through, the advantage here is that Professor Vexar spots him. Oh, good sir. Excuse me. May I, sir? May I interrupt you? And Jax looks over, and there's a Zabrak talking to him. His eyes kind of go wide a little bit, and then he continues. The professor here continues speaking. Sir, I don't suppose you are looking for me, are you? You wouldn't happen to be looking for me. My name is Professor Thalos Vexar. I'm a very, very, very knowledgeable in... Well, here he goes. He wants to start talking about... he wants to start talking about what his specialty is. So, what exactly is his specialty? What is he a professor of? He obviously must know something about kyber crystals, so he... Is he an engineer? Like, does he know engineering? And perhaps he was connected to the Jedi Order so many years ago somehow. He's not a Jedi, not a Force wielder himself, but maybe he... Did he know something about the construction of lightsabers? Does he simply know a lot about the history of the Jedi? Perhaps that's what it was. He taught a course on the history of the Jedi. I'm thinking that's likely. He's a Jedi scholar, or he's a scholar of the Jedi, right? He knows the history, the 1,000 generations history dating way back into the Old Republic. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to say that is very likely on a chaos factor of 5. That's 75%. 81. No, absolutely no. His specialty was not Jedi history. No, I'm gonna have to go with my second idea here. Come back here. He is a professor with an engineering background. Oops, I can't spell today. Still can't spell today. And he knows kyber crystals are rare, valuable, and used in the construction of lightsabers. Something the Empire would like to possess, possibly, or at least get off the streets. It's not really a street thing, but you know what I mean. So, sorry, Vexar. Yeah. So there we go. So, Professor Vexar. Sir, you wouldn't happen to be looking for me. My name is Professor Thalos Vexar. I'm a professor and an engineer by trade, but I studied many interesting things in the galaxy, including the construction of ancient weapons used by the Jedi Order. And Jax looks over at him just like, what the hell? This guy's just spouting off in the middle of Mos Eisley, knowing full well, like yeah, this isn't an Imperial port. This is a Hutt planet. But if the Hutts kind of had some idea that something like this was going down on their planet, like, Jabba's not very forgiving, and he probably wants a cut. Jax has no idea whether Jabba's even been advised of this. So Jax steps forward and goes, and he just kind of shush. No, sir. No, I will not shush. No, you must understand what I'm looking for. I know what you're looking for. Now shut the hell up right now. But. Are you new to this? Well, yes, in terms of buying Kyber. Jax reaches out, like, puts a hand over his mouth. Shut up. I'm going to take my hand away, and I don't want you to say anything more about any of your business dealings here on Tatooine. Alright, Jax takes his hand away. Highly inappropriate, sir. You should not be touching strangers like that, especially who knows where anybody has been, or who knows where you have been, or where your hand has been, sir. I smell. He goes, I don't care what you smell. You want to chat with me? This way. Well, I am looking for a particular person, sir. They're here to deliver me. I told you not to talk business out in the open. Are you stupid? Are you an idiot? No, sir. I am a very important, highly sought after speaker about. Then he kind of catches Jax's gaze, like, you look like, are you kidding me? And Jax just kind of instinctively drops his hand to the butt of his blaster. And Professor Vexar kind of sees this and kind of, I'll stop talking now. You wouldn't happen to be the man I'm seeking. Yeah, I'm the man. I'm the guy. All right. Let's go take a chat somewhere else, will we? Like, let's go find a cantina. Cool. All right, so we're just going to kind of continue that scene, 20 minutes later in, probably in a very particular cantina in Mos Eisley. Right? It's got the whole free jazz, kind of, pop jazz going on in the background. And the band is kind of, getting their thing going. And so we're going to kind of cantina to discuss. There we go. Jax sits him down. Sit. Well, yes, sir, don't mind if I do. Do you think they might have Coruscant wine on hand? Does this look like the Core Worlds? Sit. I'll order some drinks. He catches the bartender's attention, and in a couple of moments he returns with some drinks. Sits a brightly blue colored drink down in front of the professor, and one in front of himself as well. And he kind of takes a seat, making sure to kind of keep the professor a little more towards towards the edge of the booth that they take, and he kind of slides in further so that his back is not towards the door. His back is right into the booth here. He's up against the wall. The professor doesn't really seem to take much notice, and he's like, "Excellent, thank you, sir. I don't know exactly what this is, but I really do appreciate it. Now, perhaps we can discuss your delivery." Yeah, we're here. That's what we're here to discuss. Look, the crate's on board my ship, and you clearly are the buyer. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm definitely the buyer. Everything is in escrow, just as Mr. Vex asked me to do. Yeah, I get it. I'm not here to pick anything up. I'm just delivering. Understood, sir. And I completely understand. You're just the delivery boy. Jax just kind of glares at him. Sorry, my apologies. You're a smuggler by trade, are you not? Sure, let's go with that. Excellent. Okay, so I understand that you have what I need. I clearly do not have it on you, though. No, I've got it stored. It's safe. I said I came here by ship. It's on my ship, stored safely, out of the way, so it won't be easily found. All right. No, that's excellent news. They are very hard to come by, so I was very happy to deal with Mr. Vex on this. I'm sure he was perfectly happy to take your money for them as well. Oh, for them, you know what they are. Yeah, they've caused me a little bit of trouble since I picked them up. I almost got killed because of these things. Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. Did one of them explode? No, one of them didn't explode. You're not the only one looking for these things, all right? You may be the buyer. There's others who definitely have an interest in acquiring them. Oh, I can completely understand that. My goal here is to take them and sell them to... I don't care what your goal is. I don't care who you're selling them to, what you're doing them. I really don't want to hear any more about it. I just want to offload these things and get them out of my life and get paid. Oh, I do not have any credits for it. No, I know that. I'll be in touch with Vex again as soon as we're done here. How do you want to do this? Well, perhaps... well, you seem to know a little bit more about this kind of work. I'm afraid I am fairly new to this. You don't say. I do say, yes, sir. Yes, I do. I do hear your sarcasm. I really do not understand the interest in sarcasm as a form of humor, of course, but alright, so this kind of goes on for a few more minutes as Jax tries to get something out of this guy. Meanwhile, Vex is a very public person here. He has definitely kind of caused some issues, I think. He's definitely not inconspicuous. So has he picked up some followers who might be interested in what he's trying to buy? Because he's also probably, he just talks about it. Somebody's heard, somebody knows, and Jax was already warned by Cade. There's others that are going to be looking for these. So I'm thinking it's nearly certain. That's what I'm going with. Nearly certain on a chaos factor of 5 that Professor Vexar here has picked up a tail who's probably about ready to pounce. And it's going to be a 60, and a 60 is a yes. So, I'm thinking, oops, I don't know how I keep, I'm not sure how I keep doing that. Do I do that, or is it, So I'm saying, I'm going to guess it. So he's picked up a tail. Somebody who wants that cargo. Somebody wants that cargo, and they're going to try to take it. Is it a group? Is it a group of people? 50-50. 53. No, it's not a group of people. It's a single person. Okay. Are they working for the Empire? There's a possibility. Maybe the Empire sent someone out to retrieve these because they've learned of them. I'm going to say that's unlikely. You know what? I'm going to say that's very unlikely. It's probably not the Empire. Is it the Empire? 89. That is, that's a no. Yeah, that's definitely a no. 89, that is not a, 89 actually is an extreme no. Sorry. Extreme no, it's not the Empire. I'm saying, you know what? Extreme no is the Empire. That means it's like the complete opposite of the Empire, I'm thinking. That means it's somebody who's not connected to the Galactic Empire at all. Someone who maybe plays outside of the Galactic Empire and is known as, oh, I don't know, a crime lord, a gangster who happens to reside here on Tatooine. I'm thinking, yeah, if it's not the Empire, if it's a definite no that it's not the Empire, it's Jabba the Hutt. So it's a single person, I'm saying, being sent by Jabba the Hutt. Jabba has learned of the cargo's transaction and wants to take it off Professor Vexar's hands. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what we're talking about here. So it's going to be a single person here. So Jabba's got all kinds of nasties that he could potentially pull out. So is it a smuggler? Is it a hired gun type? There we go. I'm saying that's very likely. Did he send like a hired gun after Professor Vexar? Very likely. 53. Yes. Yeah, and that's where we're going to kind of end it right there, I think. We got an hour of playtime here. That's pretty good, I think. So we're going to... kind of make some notes here at the end. Our destiny pool is here. I need to do an obligation roll to see whether that comes up next time. So we know Jax has he's got 10 points of obligation, right? Alright, 20 points of obligation. So we'll roll percentile dice here. 51. No, nothing again. So nothing there. Once again, obligation next time will be a no. Not going to be coming up. The destiny pool will simply be at 0 light and 2 dark. And that's where I'm going to kind of leave things off until we come back next time to probably to get shot at again. Alright. And we're just going to close everything down.